처음 본 날 기억해 skip the small talk 바로 다음 단계였지 뭐 단점이라곤 없는 게 단점이라던 그 허세도 마냥 좋았어 하지만 내일게가 재미없어진 이유 내가 없어진 나의 메일들은 어쩌네 좀 이상해.
This is the Bill Reed Gallery of Northwest Coast Art. It is the only gallery in Canada that is dedicated to contemporary Indigenous Northwest Coast art. Located in the heart of downtown Vancouver, it says it used remarkable collection of Indigenous arts.
둘 사이에 너만 보이는 걸까 난 까다롭고 힘든 나이라 그런 피곤한 생각만 한데 오늘 난 눈 문자 속에 새로 산 티셔츠 그릴 기분이야 이제야 난 알고
Some pieces that they have here is the Reed Bronze Masterpiece, a 8.5-meter wide carving. This piece is called the Mythic Messages. Another piece is the Milky Way necklace, a gold and silver piece of jewelry. The final piece that they feature proudly is a full-scale totem pole carved by James Hart of Hattagwai.
While we're in the Indigenous Art Museum, the point of this video isn't to show you what they have. Rather, we wish to emphasize on the issue regarding the revitalization and preservation of Indigenous culture and language. The main reason that culture and language was lost was due to assimilation efforts that were made by the government in the past. It was not only an issue in Canada, but in other countries like the US as well. In the 19th century, the US federal government established boarding schools and ads assimilating Native American children, which includes suppressing Indigenous language, which then led to the loss of many Indigenous language. In Canada, students in residential schools face punishment for speaking their mother tongues. After the closure of residential schools, fear and stigma associated with speaking Indigenous languages persisted, further inhibiting language preservation. Furthermore, these communities were often forced to relocate, which in turn made the situation much worse. Today, even though Indigenous communities have locations that are reserved specially for them, the conditions of the houses on these reserves are substandard, which force the people to look to other options in the cities where living is more suitable. In an article by CBC, they said when Indigenous people move to the city, they lose a physical connection to the homeland that will otherwise help them retain their language. Additionally, this also applies to a general sense where if you don't continue the practice of something, you lose that connection that you would have otherwise if you still maintain it.
If you didn't know already, 3 out of the 90 different living Indigenous languages are classified as endangered by the UNESCO. No Indigenous languages fall under the category as safe. To add to that, in 2016, only about 15.6% of Indigenous people could converse in an Indigenous language, down from 17% in 2011 and 21% in 2006. Among First Nations people, 21% can converse in an Indigenous language. This figure is 64% among Inuit and 2% among Métis.
The importance of revitalizing Indigenous languages helps restore cultural identity and community strengths. For the Maami tribe, the language revitalization is central to reconnecting with their heritage. Learning and speaking their languages, such as expressing love and singing songs, strengthens family bonds and cultural identity. Indigenous languages also carry health-promoting cultural values and practices through social connections. Researchers show that Indigenous language use has substantial health benefits, reinforcing the value of language revitalization programs. In an article by PBS, the author wrote, "Simply put, our languages help make us whole again. When we empower our cultural selves through speaking our languages, we begin to undo the damage caused by years of cultural and linguistic oppression." Not only through research and statistics, but also personal perspective and changes show the importance of maintaining Indigenous culture and preserving the language.
That being said, governments have put in an initiative to solve the issue and move forward from the past. In the 2017 budget, the government of Canada committed $89.9 million over the 3 years to preserve, promote, and revitalize Indigenous languages and cultures.
which will support a total of 1,320 hours of language training, which will be delivered each year in a similar manner in 7 indigenous languages to 480 participants of all ages.
Additionally, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau introduced a law to preserve Indigenous languages. The act was developed in association with the AFN, Assembly of First Nations, Métis Nation, and Department of Canadian Heritage. Other institutions that are not associated with the government also have introduced solutions to this problem. The University of Alberta and the University of British Columbia have Indigenous and First Nations language programs. Yukon College has the Yukon Native Language Center.
But other than governments founding and hosting more programs, the advantage of technology can be used to connect more Indigenous communities together.
We mentioned that many Indigenous people have moved to the city as living conditions were substandard. By using modern technology, these people can still be connected to each other via the internet and other ways of communication. That still keeps them involved with their hometown.
The government could fund more to modernize living unreserved, to improve infrastructure and fix and improve all that already existed here.
By working towards this goal, we move closer to a more equitable and equal society.
그 좋아했던 립스틱 싫단 말해버린 널 좋아했던 만큼 다 맞추려 했어 나 아닌 누가 그런 세상 안아주겠어 그 말이 그땐 그리 달콤했던 거야 Oh no 새벽에 기통해도 이젠 피곤해졌어 Every day, every night 나로 채우고 싶어 좀 이상해 왜 둘 사이에 너만 보이는 걸까 난 까다롭고 힘든 아이라 그런 피곤한 생각만 한데 오늘 난 눈 문자 속에 새로 산 티셔츠 그의 기분이야 이제야 난 알 것 같아 Gonna block you 부를까 2X Gonna block you 부를까 2X Say bye Gonna block you 부를까 2X 깜빡거리는 흔들거리는 light Gonna block you 부를까 2X 좀 이상해 왜 둘 사이에 너만 보이는 걸까 난 까다롭고 힘든 아이라 그런 피곤한 생각만 한데 오늘 난 눈 문자 속에 새로 산 티셔츠 그 기분이야 이제야 난 알 것 같아 Gonna block you 부를까 2X Gonna block you 부를까 2X